Every day, ticks, mites, and insects are quietly costing you money, and you're probably spending hundreds, sometimes over $1,000 a year on chemical pesticides that degrade your soil, build parasite resistance, and eat into your margins for the privilege. Most farmers never question whether this is actually working, but there is a biological alternative that pays for itself in weeks. Before we break down the math on how to replace your chemical budget, I need to mention one critical management rule. It is the single difference between a flock that patrols your farm and a flock that walks off and never comes back. Stay with me for that part. Guinea fowl have been used to control farm pests for centuries. Modern agriculture mostly traded them in for spray programs, which turned out to be a bad deal, especially now that tick populations are developing resistance to acaricides and buyers are willing to pay premiums for chemical-free pasture-raised products. Ticks vector diseases that kill livestock worth thousands. A single bad tick season can erase months of profit. Acaricide programs run $400 to $1,200 a year for small operations. And that's before you factor in withdrawal periods, long-term soil damage, and the cost of rotating chemicals. The real bill is higher than the sticker price. A flock of 20 to 30 guinea fowl foraging on 2 hectares will consume roughly 30,000 to 40,000 ticks and pest insects per day, according to integrated pest management research. Unlike chickens, they don't scratch and tear up your pasture. They pick insects off grass blades, off livestock backs, off the ground, sunrise to dusk, with almost no supervision needed. Getting started costs somewhere between $150 and $350. Keats, a basic roosting shelter, and starter feed for the first 8 weeks. After establishment, a free-ranging flock on productive pasture needs almost no supplemental feed in warm months. You're replacing a $600 per year chemical program with a one-time $200 outlay. That's the baseline. The actual profitability comes from what else these birds produce. Guinea fowl meat sells as specialty game bird in most markets, typically 2 to 3 times the price of standard chicken. A dressed bird of 1.5 to 2 kilograms retails for $12 to $25 in Western markets. If you run 50 birds for dual purpose, pest control and meat, and sell 20 to 30 as table birds, that revenue alone can match your old pesticide budget. Guinea hens lay 80 to 160 eggs per year, concentrated in spring and summer. The eggs are smaller than chicken eggs but higher in protein, and they sell at $1 to $2 each in specialty food markets, 3 to 4 times a conventional egg. 10 hens can gross $800 to $2,400 per season in egg sales. There's also live bird sales. Quality. Guinea fowl breeding stock is in short supply in most regional markets. A breeding pair producing 2 seasonal hatches can yield 30 to 60 offspring per year at $5 to $15 per bird. Demand is growing as more farmers discover this model. Now, the thing that actually determines whether any of this works, the most common reason farmers fail with guinea fowl isn't disease or predators. It's releasing birds too early. These aren't domesticated animals in the way chickens are. Their instinct to roam runs deep. Release Keats onto open pasture before they're imprinted on your land, and they'll simply walk off and not come back. This is the mistake that ends most first attempts. The fix is straightforward. Confine Keats in a covered pen for the first 6 to 8 weeks. Let them grow out to near juvenile size while hearing and seeing the farm around them. Then release them for the first few sessions in late afternoon, so they return to shelter at night. Gradually extend their range over 2 weeks. A flock that's properly imprinted becomes self-managing. They patrol, they return at dusk, they stay on your land. A flock released too early becomes your neighbor's problem. The numbers for a small operation, About $270 to start, 25 keats, shelter materials, starter feed, roughly $150 per year. To run after that, revenue in year one typically comes from $600 in pesticide costs you no longer pay, around $360 in table bird sales, $900 in eggs, and $280 in live keat sales, about $2,140 total. Net return after recovering the startup, something like $1,720. Those figures obviously depend on your market and your birds, but they're not exotic. At 100 birds on 4 to 6 hectares, costs per bird drop with bulk purchasing, and you're running a genuine side enterprise while eliminating your chemical pest program for any livestock sharing that pasture. Last thing on where to sell, skip commodity channels. Guinea fowl products belong at farmers markets through CSA subscriptions, with restaurants that care about sourcing, and on direct sale platforms for pasture-raised birds. The three things premium buyers pay for right now are chemical-free, pasture-raised, and traceable. Photograph your flock on pasture. Document the tick reduction on your livestock. That story is what sells birds, eggs, and meat at prices that make this worth doing. Building a farm that runs on biology instead of chemistry isn't just better for your land, it's better for your margins. If you want the exact 8-week confinement and feeding protocol we just talked about, drop the word protocol in the comments below, and I'll send it your way. Subscribe for more real farm economics, and I'll see you in the next one.